Now let's talk a little bit about the setup of your longbow. There are not many tools you need to have if you have a longbow, but there is one we always suggest every archer to get. That tool is a simple tool called the bow square, which is basically a ruler, but one that enables you to keep a 90-degree angle to the string. This is enabled by these two connection points here. So let's look at what's the benefit of a bow square. There are basically two things you want to do, and make sure you always have consistency around. So as mentioned in another video, you always want to take the string off from the bow for at least the nighttime, or perhaps even between sessions in a day. And because the string comes off, every time you put it back on, you need to quickly check if it is on exactly the same way as it used to be. For that, the first thing to measure is whether what's called the brace height is the same as it used to be. And brace height is the distance between the throat of the grip here and the string, and you can measure this with the square or with a regular ruler. Now, with a Falco bow, the possibility of brace heights, that means the possible range that can be useful for you, is quite large. You might be able to shoot this bow anywhere between 6.5 to 8.5, and all of those would be good lengths, and I mean inches in this case. What you want to do then is you want to first test your particular arrow set with a brace height and get them to fly perfectly, and then just keep the same brace height forever. In this particular case, we have it just above 7 inches, which is quite a good level to start tuning at. Nevertheless, you might have to change this. If you feel like your arrows aren't flying perfect, then what you do is you start tuning the brace height, which is done by twisting clockwise or counterclockwise of the string. If you go counterclockwise, the string becomes shorter and therefore brace height becomes longer. Having done a few twists, I now have the brace height at 7.5. Or you can go the other way around, means remove some twists and shorten the brace height. Be careful though, the Flemish string, the hand weave Flemish string that we use, does untangle itself at one point, so you want to be quite careful not to take off too many twists from this string. The other thing that a bow square allows you to do is to check if the nocking point is at a constant height. This is very important because if your nocking point is off, it significantly impacts how your bow shoots. The way you do this is by placing the bow square at a 90-degree angle from the string to the bow, where the shelf is, so that this here would be the height where the arrow would normally sit. You want to check then if the nocking point is at the same height always, and you know that height once you've tuned your arrows and you see that they fly well. And by default, we have this set at about 14 millimeters above the imaginary 90-degree line here. But once again, you're welcome to change that. And once you find the height that seems to fit you well, we actually suggest that you remove this temporary brass nocking point and replace that with a string nocking point. That's it for the setup. We wish you good luck at the field.